Hi, it's Dwyer. It is Wednesday, October 19th. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Let's give an update on baseball. The Dodgers are out. Let's talk about it further. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, the Dodgers are out 116 Pythagorean regular season wins. They're out. They had great numbers during the regular season, folks, right? In my opinion, they were the best team in baseball. But of course, that second round of the playoffs is only a 5-game series, right? First team to 3. And the Dodgers weren't ready. Nor were the Atlanta Braves, right? The Braves had 100 Pythagorean wins, right? The Braves had playoff experience. They fell apart. So what you have right now in the National League are the San Diego Padres, who lost Game 1 of their series against the Phillies. And of course, the Phillies. Now, in an earlier video, we encouraged people to have bets on both teams. You're getting better than 10x if either of those teams wins the World Series. Here's what I want people to consider. First, the Phillies have a wild card in Bryce Harper. Harper has already homered in the NLCS. He's the kind of guy who, regardless of pedestrian regular season numbers, if he gets hot, he can carry a team. What I want people to also consider is the fact that Philadelphia, unlike all the other teams left in the playoffs, has a losing road record. What that implies is that you don't want to lose to Philly on the road in the playoffs. Because if Philly has a lead, as they do right now against the Padres, you're going to have a hard time beating them in Philadelphia, where the Phillies were 13 games. Again, 13 games over 500. So San Diego has its work cut out for them. But I want people to understand that neither the Padres nor the Phillies come close to having the numbers that the teams left in the American League. The Houston Astros, who have the best numbers, who I think is going to win it all, right? The Houston Astros and the Yankees. And understand, I'm a Yankee fan. Both of those teams, in terms of Pythagorean wins, have 106 Pythagorean wins. Again, 106 Pythagorean wins. Right? The Astros, believe it or not, won more than 50 games, both at home and on the road this year. Right, folks? That's astounding. By contrast, the Yankees were only 3 games above 500 on the road. If you're going by numbers, since neither the Padres nor the Phillies got to 90 Pythagorean wins during the regular season, the winner of the Astro-Yankee series is likely to be the World Series winner. Right? Let's put this a little bit differently. You saw Yu Darvish out there. They had a pitching gem in Game 1 of the NLCS last night. But I need for you to understand that during the regular season, the Padres gave up 4.1 runs per game. The Phillies gave up 4.2 runs per game. By contrast, the Astros, who have the best pitching left in the playoffs, gave up 3.2 runs per game The Yankees only gave up 3.5 runs per game. In other words, the American League representative statistically is going to have the better pitching, right? Understand, in terms of offense, the Yankees, who average 5 runs a game, are the best offensive team left among the 4 left. The problem with the Yankees is that they're feast or famine, right? It's exemplified by Aaron Judge's strikeout numbers. I know, 62 home runs, impressive. I understand, home runs in must-win games in the playoffs, right? He set the record. Okay, great. He's clutch. But he had over 170 strikeouts this season, folks. There were only 162 games. Right? I know people are going to focus on his on-base percentage, which was above 400. Right? But what I want people to understand is that if it's not a home run or a walk, with Aaron Judge, it's a strikeout. Right? Other guys on the team have the same problem. The Yankees are literally feast or famine. Right? Don't confuse Judge with Barry Bonds, who, the year he hit 73, had less than 100 strikeouts. Right? So, let's just break it down betting-wise. The Padres are up against it. Just understand, if they lose Game 2 of the National League Championship Series, at that point, I'm going to step in and I'm going to put futures action on the Phillies. Why? Because the Phillies are much better at home than they are on the road. Right? If it's a split, then the series is still too murky. Then I'm going to sit back and see what happens. See if San Diego, relatively early on, can get back home field advantage. If San Diego's unable to win Game 3, right? If San Diego wins Game 2, but they're unable to win Game 3, they're going to be up against it. Right? At that point, I might start to put a little on the Phillies. For San Diego to redeem themselves, in my eyes, they're going to have to win Game 2. And then they're going to have to win Game 3 or Game 4. Don't have it. Go to 5, where Game 5 would become a must-win for the San Diego Padres. Now, in the American League, the Astros are rested. They're playing great baseball. They're excellent on the road. They're excellent against above 500 teams. Understand, in the regular season, against teams 500 or better, the Houston Astros were 15 games. Let me repeat that, 15 games above 500. Right? Quite frankly, they're a better team than the Yankees. We've seen lesser teams win series in these playoffs, right? The Dodgers, I'm just telling you, are an elite team. The Braves, close. Both of them knocked out in the second round, right? We've seen non-elite teams rise to the top. We'll certainly take advantage of the situation as it develops, whatever the status is of the team. But just in the abstract, the Houston Astros won 106 regular season games. I get that if you go by Pythagorean numbers, the Yankees won as many. But I would argue the Yankees started the season red hot and then faded considerably. The Astros were far more consistent. Understand, I know the Yankees were hot in their last 30 games, winning 20 of the 30. Understand the Houston Astros over their last 30 games, won 21 of the 30. Right? So the Astros, they're the team to beat. The Yankees are lucky to have gotten by the Cleveland Guardians, who pushed them to 5 games. I'm expecting Houston to come out of the American League. I'm expecting Houston to win the World Series. But if you're going to give me leverage, and you're certain to get leverage on the National League side of the play, in other words, whoever wins the American League is going to be favored in the World Series. Right? If I can get significant leverage coming out of the National League, then I'm going to do so. Right? I'll start getting that leverage if San Diego loses the second game of their series, because Philly's so much better at home that if Philly goes home up 2-0, I'm going to expect them to win the series. I'm going to expect them to be rested for the series. In other words, win the series well inside of 7 games. So that game 2, if the Phillies win game 2 in San Diego, that's when I'm going to start increasing my Philly part of my betting portfolio. If San Diego wins game 2, then I'll hold off and see if San Diego can win game 3 or game 4. Right? If they can't win either, then at that point I'm going to load up the truck, because Philly would be up 3-1. I would increase my Philly side of the action, expecting to get well north of even money. Right? Well north of even money. That's how I see it. We're going to play the situations. Just understand, in terms of the teams, I consider the Houston Astros to be the best of the 4 teams left. Right? They get on base a lot. They're not a feast and famine team like the Yankees. Understand, too, Aaron Hicks is hurt. That's a hit for the Yankees. Right? So the Yankees just suffered an injury. They're going to have to make do. They're the more tired team. Right? The Houston Astros are the team with home field advantage. Everything is breaking the Astros' way. That could, of course, change quickly if the Yankees grab home field advantage in that series. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.